What's happening? Welcome back to E227. Today I'll be going over my desk setup with all of my computers, specs, hard drives, accessories, etc. Like just everything that I use on a day-to-day basis. Now I do have to say that everything I have here I did pay for myself. I'm massive on researching something before I buy it to make sure it's going to do exactly what I need. Otherwise it's just a waste of money. Now first I'm going to start with the computers that I use. Yes, I said computers with an S because I do use two here in the office, which you might say is overkill, but I will explain to you why. So I'm currently using a 2020 Mac Mini with 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and my latest addition is a 2021 16-inch MacBook Pro with the Apple M1 Max chip and 32 gigabytes of memory and also 1 terabytes of storage. Number one is I always want to have a desktop here in the office just in case something happens to my laptop or I leave it at home. I just don't have to worry about not having a computer to work on while I'm here. But I also do sometimes decide to work from home or I travel or whatever the case, so I do need a laptop that's going to allow me to do some work while I'm not editing in the office. It's never going to be as nice having a big screen in front of me with two computers, but nevertheless having a fast, reliable laptop to give me flexibility to work wherever I am is something I'll always need, and I don't want to have to carry around a massive case with a screen or an iMac in it. Number two is workflow. Now, even though the new MacBook is a crazy fast computer, it can handle all of my footage and projects with no issues whatsoever. It can still only have one project open at a time. There are times where I have 3 to 4 videos that need to go out in one day, as well as some photos and some social media posting. So what I will do there, if there are any massive projects like a podcast or wedding ceremonies that are more than 15 minutes long, I will edit the biggest ones first on my MacBook, chuck them into Media Encoder, move to the next project, edit that one, cue that one in Media Encoder, and let it do its thing in the background without me trying to mess around with Lightroom in the background and use up more memory than needed. It can just sit there in silence, pump through all of those videos, and I don't need to worry about it. Then I'll switch to my Mac Mini and work on some real estate videos or editing some photos or do social media posting. Stuff that my Mac Mini can just handle with a little bit more ease and I don't have to worry about it crashing. Now the beauty of me using Apple is I can sync both computers together. So anything I put onto the desktop on one will automatically transfer to the other. That way it makes sure that I don't go to use my laptop at home and realize I need something that was on my Mac Mini that's left in my office, which is such a far drive away. It all syncs together and the workflow is amazing. That workflow just works for me though, and I know it definitely won't work for a lot of creatives out there, but it's just what makes sense in my head. Next is hard drives. Now we can talk about hard drives all day, but I'm just gonna go quickly over what I use. Connected to my Mac Mini, I have two 6 terabyte hard drives at all times, and then I switch out my other hard drives depending on what project I'm working on and what computer I think it needs. On my Mac Pro, I usually always have my Samsung 1 terabyte T5 SSD. Now this thing is crazy fast, but it's only 1 terabyte, which means I can only really have 1 or 2 projects on there at a time, and they are usually weddings or current projects that I'm working on with a short turnaround time. That way I know that I can get to them really quickly, I can access them, and I can export them out as quick as possible. Now onto my screen. The screen that I use is a Samsung CH89 34-inch curves monitor. I absolutely love this monitor because of its color accuracy right out of the box, its size of it, and the fact that it's non-reflective. Non-reflectivity is a massive game changer. For what headphones I use the Sony WH-1000X Mark IVs. Now my wife Kyla actually got these for me as a present and they have been phenomenal. They're light, super comfortable, have full noise cancelling as well as ambient noise control, and they sound amazing. I honestly couldn't recommend them enough. Last but not least is my keyboard and mouse. So after so much consideration, I finally ditched the Apple keyboard and mouse and switched to the Logitech MX keys and mouse. Just the fact that if they die, I can put them on charge and keep working should have been a reason why I switched years ago. The scroll wheel on the side of the mouse means I can scrub sideways through a timeline, just like I do on an Apple mouse. They can do basically anything an Apple mouse and keyboard can do, but they actually have more functionalities I have found. But you can charge them the whole time, which is just a massive reason why you should switch. Now, I've actually asked the rest of the gang to give me a little video on what their editing setups are like at home. So here are Michael and Kat and Harry's editing setups.
G'day everybody, Ethan has asked me to share my really fancy and complicated and epic editing setup for his video for this week. It's really not any of those things. Actually, my editing setup is really simple, so let's get into it. All right, so this is it. Welcome. This is my magic keyboard. This is the magic mouse. That's my pen. This is where I do all my clicking and clacking. This is where I'll do my, just clicking actually, and this is where I'll do my writing. Pretty simple setup, as you can see. Yeah, this is my big old monitor. As you can see, it is massive. I wanted to go with a single monitor because I don't want two monitors because it's harder to plug into my computer, which you'll see in a moment. Other things I have on my desk are my Xbox Series X, yeah, because I'm a nerd. Other one is the Mac Mini, which is what you're all sort of actually interested in. It's my Mac Mini. As you can see, I have the Mac Mini. This is a 16 gig Mac Mini. 16 gig of RAM. Other than that, it's just the base model with a little Satechi hub on the bottom and 1,000 hard drives plugged in. You'll also notice that among other things, I have a tea towel, and that's because I actually work where I sleep, as you can see in the background, and I don't like blinking lights. So that goes over there as a fire hazard, but it helps me sleep. So that's why I do that. So there you have it. That's my very basic and very simple editing setup. I like to keep it simple because I'm not a very complicated person, and the simpler things are, the less room and clutter there is, the more room there is for creativity. At least that's what one of my co-workers says, and I have to tend to agree. So yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it.
All right, so this is my setup. I've got two 20-inch old school Apple Cinema displays, still kicking, with Mac Mini M1 chip from 2020, with SteelSeries mouse and an Apple keyboard. And Kyler and Ethan gave me this really cool mouse pad for Christmas with some of the artworks that I've done. So that's on there. And there you go, that's my setup.
And that's it for my current editing setup. All of these products will be linked below, but if you want to see my full kit as well as what the rest of the team uses, check out our kit in the link below as well. Thanks everyone, I hope you have a great day.